Good afternoon. This is Steve Carver, and I'm speaking to you from my home office studio in Dunn, North Carolina. Thank you so much for joining us. This is a webinar, part of a series of Do-It-Yourself, Start Your Own Business. And tonight we're going to be talking primarily about business plans and budgets, plus all the great work that our class members have been doing. This is my presentation number 1133. Thank you for joining my journey. Let me tell you right up front, I am not a lawyer or a tax accountant or some type of legal advisor, just a fellow that's been in business a long, long time. I'm proud of it and still doing business today. Had customers all over the nation I've been serving, so I know exactly what it is that y'all are having to deal with, and I'm happy to be in the game with you. I just love it. We're sponsored by the Small Business Center, and Ruthie is with us tonight at Nash Community College in Rocky Mount. It's a great small business center, and she does a wonderful job and ready to set up an appointment with you and help you any way she can with resources available there at the center or what she can find for you. It's just a really good opportunity. And we're also glad to give you her phone number there at 252-451-8344. Give Ruthie a call or send her an email and set up an appointment and add staff to your business without having to pay any more money. And welcome to Shania Robinson, who's now joined the staff there at the Small Business Center. If you call over there, I will be talking with her, and she can help get you set up with whatever you need as well. So welcome, Shania. Glad to have you on board in the world of small business centers. My business is primarily CarverEquipmentCompany.com. That's where I make my bread money and have for 50-some years, or 60-some years actually, and we have a world of profit centers. I'll use this website that I have for over 35 years as a teaching tool, so I invite you to visit CarverEquipment.com. We'll refer to it all through the series, and maybe you'll pick up some ideas and ways of doing things that you like that are working for me, or share with me some other things. Ruthie and Shania have emailed out to you, or they meant to email out to you, study guides. I got my copy of what they sent out, so hopefully you did as well. The main one when you get these guides before our programs is the one that starts out with a number. That's the talking points guide for our session tonight. So if you want to print one out, that would be the one to make notes on. But there's lots of others, including that you want to try to keep in your business journal computer file so you can refer back to them. We've got a plate full of stuff tonight, so I'll be moving on pretty quickly. Remember that when you get your video, you can watch it one step at a time and as fast as you want or as slow as you'd like. I want to remind you that you are made for so much more, and I am too. We are operating at a low gear once we realize just how much we can accomplish if we give it a try. I want to ask you, never give up on me and never give up on yourself. And I'll promise you, I won't either. I'll be pushing right along. But it's good always to remind ourselves we need to keep pushing ourselves in business. If we start backing up, it's really hard to catch up. So keep it up. We're going to set a table tonight and dish out a lot of great food for you. Take what you like, eat as much as you want to, do with it as you like. We've got a lot of information coming your way. But mainly, I want you to start enjoying the opportunities of networking that so many of our classes do, create new friends, new business relationships. That's really good for everybody. When you see someone else's ads come up on Facebook or otherwise, go ahead and share it. Help each other. Small businesses need to pull together. It's up to you how much you dive into this, and as I was telling Ruthie earlier, the core group that started out with us last week, I've been the most active in generating information and seeming to be active to push your business forward, and I am so gratified to see you do it. That's the joy in this work for me, to see y'all being quite active. We had a good crowd last week and a better crowd already tonight. I'll keep up with attendance, because if you attend 5 of the classes, you'll automatically qualify for certificates, and as you do more, you'll qualify for even more things. So first of all, let's say hello to Sarah. She's with us tonight. Give Sarah a wave. Wave at everyone, Sarah.
Hi.
She's joined with us, and she is into a business that there's a great need for. and that is helping people figure out how Google marketing can help their business go forward. So I'm really looking forward to sending you some business, and maybe even for myself. And how long have you been kind of in this course? Have you finished your studies and your work, and or tell us about where you are?
In the Entrepreneur Academy? This will be my second class.
No, as far as your work as a Google profiler.
Oh, I've been in the business for about 7 months, but marketing and social media has always been my passion, so I'm just always looking to grow into new projects.
Fantastic. Okay, let's see. You sent me congratulations on doing your mission, vision, and promise statements. They're very good. I enjoyed reading them. I'm sure everyone else will. I've got a lot of them from y'all, but thank you so much. I can tell that you put some thought into it. Now it's time to put these out to let the public see that you're committed to doing this type of work. I was especially proud of you for doing your business goals, not only for 6 months, but out for 5 years. That's very good work, and it's something that we all should be doing. So thank you for giving it that thought, and that will really help you as we move into tonight's lesson. Truck May is with us. How are you doing, Truck? Can you hear me okay?
I'm doing good. I can hear you.
Good. We're so happy to have you on board with us, and Truck has just done amazing. She's almost completed all of her homework assignments before the ink even got dry. So I'm so proud of you for that. But mainly for starting a wonderful business that hopefully we can help get it growing there from you. Truck is over in Whitaker's with her own a flower farm and is doing a great job on Facebook promoting her products with the Flowers of Arbor Lane. Isn't that a cool name? And Springs of Bloom. Y'all check out her work as you get a chance. It's just amazing, great art, great styling, and such as that. And she's the first of our series to come forward with an introduction video. I want you to turn your volume up. Sometimes this volume through the network in these meetings isn't too good. But these are really great tools to use in your Facebook and website marketing. I'd say to several of you who are doing such good work, learning to do these videos will be so important to you. So let's see what kind of message we got here.
Hi, my name is Shirk. I was born in Vietnam, and I came to the U.S. in 2015, so I've been here for almost 10 years. I've moved around quite a bit from Ohio to Mexico, and finally settled in North Carolina with my husband in 2021. I'm currently working as a chemist in Wilson in a food chemistry company. I've always had an interest in agriculture, and occasionally regretted that I didn't sign up for horticulture or plant biotechnology back in college. Now that my company is considering moving away, I'm thinking about pursuing my dream to have a flower farm. And this year I've ran a trial to gauge customer interest. It seems to be going well, so given that my expectations were quite low, I'd like to be more serious with my idea, and that's what I'm doing. I look forward to growing my idea myself as well. Thank you.
Fantastic. The great issue here is stop becoming a web page and start becoming a person that people can identify with as a human being and working hard and hearing the voice and seeing the face and appreciating the smile goes so far. Troop, thank you so much for doing that. I would mention to you, I'd like for each one of you to do an introduction video. Now, she took it the extra mile, and sometimes on your first video, that's a little too long. You want to keep it, if you can, to 25 to 45 seconds. Just a big smile. Thank you for letting me introduce myself. Let me tell you a little bit of my business, and then ask the question about how you can serve them. Your introduction video is to show them your face, hear your voice, but to get them to start talking back to you. I want you to end these videos with a question: how can we serve you, or what is the next thing you'll need? Nothing is more important than making your customers feel like that you're listening to them and you care about what they're saying. Truth went the extra mile and listed out her 5 profit centers so that she'll be able to put that right to work in the business plan tonight. So helpful, one of the best I've ever seen in the first work towards it. And she did something in the extra mile that a lot of us forget to do, and I want to show you that she put these profit centers in play with the absolutely goal and direction of becoming a profit center that brings in new customers, repeat business, big ticket sales, and so forth. So as you're putting your profit centers together, keep that in mind as she did there. 100% great work, and thank you so much for doing that. Also, really great work with her mission, vision, and promise statements. Please take time tomorrow to look at the video and study these carefully, because she's put a lot of thought into these, and just very, very good. I really liked her last statement here in the promise statement to utilize small businesses, local small businesses, as much as you can. We all as entrepreneurs need to support and ask our fellow citizens in our community to support local businesses. None of us are big box stores. We need to operate with our locals, onesies and twosies customers to keep coming to us. Wonderful colors, your Facebook sites, and the flowers are absolutely beautiful. Maybe someday I can visit your farm and when you're there and take a personal look at it. So really good work. She went the extra mile too, and go ahead and accepting the challenge and in rewriting the drill skills and telling basically how each one of the drill skills can help you in your personal business. This is the very best way to start owning entrepreneurship. And so many people have told me through the years, and I haven't changed these for a number of years so that people can refer back to them. You can go there, get a little piece of the action, put it into your DNA, and your entrepreneur tool belt will really be strengthened when you do that. So thank you so much, Truth. Okay, let's move now to Dr. Thomas. Tamara, thank you for all of your work and work last week and such as that. She's doing a great job with her work, and she's with us tonight. Ask you to say hello in a second. Gave us all of her basic information. She's got all this on the internet where people can find it. We just need to get that marketing working. This is a lady with so many talents. Not only is she bringing the Word of God to us on a regular basis, but also is doing great work with her violin. So thank you for doing for that work and sharing it. And she says you can check all these out online and listen to her do that. So thank you for doing that. We got some great videos. And they move on and just do a great job. But she's got years and years of experience in counseling and preaching and helping people, and I'm sure that her consulting business will go really well. She's gone the extra mile too and starting to prepare her business plan. Got a lot of depth in that, and then sharing back and forth. I gave her some ideas that she might want to pursue as well. But thank you so much for getting a head start on your business plan, research and development, growth strategies. Just a whole lot going on there with Tamara. So proud of you. Keep up the good work. We're all pulling for you to make it work. Alan was with us last week. Maybe he'll tune back in sometime today, but he's over in the Elm City area. Alan has got he helps people find employment and headhunter, you might call it. So thank you, Alan, for joining us, and he's doing a great job on the internet as well. His LM2 resource resolutions, good information there with testimonials from people that he helped. So hopefully we're going to be able to help Alan get even more business coming in and increase his reach to customers. David, good to have you on board. Well, let me go back. Tamara, do you have any comments you'd like to make at this point with the work that you're doing?
I actually don't. I appreciate you sharing, and there's so much more in the development of the plan. And so working together with my colleagues here on the call is going to be very helpful for us to learn from one another.
Sounds great. I just want to give you a chance, and I appreciate you so much. Thank you. Okay, And David, thank you for being with us again tonight and sharing the information with us. He's been working really hard and looking forward to pushing forward over in the mountains there. He did come forward with his 5 profit centers coming forward. And I want to remind you, 5 is the minimum. You want to think about how many different items you can add to your menu, because each one of those, as you'll see in the business plan, represents a diversification to help you have even more customers. So David's been working hard. He did his mission, vision, and promise statements. Way to go. We're proud of you. I love you marketing, the Madco Tax Pros. So I learned earlier tonight, David shared with me, that's a play on Madison County, Madco is. I wondered if they were talking about mad people like me, but I know it's for Madison County. So outstanding work, good logos, good images. He's done a good job through the years. But now I kind of think it's time that all of us try to figure out how we can revamp our businesses and move them forward. Good images on the internet, David. Congratulations for all your great work. And Miko, hello. It's good to have you with us tonight with Miss Miko Celebrations. What a cool name and a cool lady, and a great smile. I know you're looking forward to growing your business. You've got a great logo coming forward there that's displayed on the internet, and that's really pretty. And you too have done your mission, vision, and promise statements and your slogans. So just thank you so much for jumping in, and I'm so proud of all of you for doing your different work. Here's a picture of us at a pop-up setup. So thank you so much for the different ways that you're pushing your business forward there. Do you want to say hello to everyone and tell us what you are your main thing that you're pushing for right now?
Hello, everyone. Thank you. My business is about celebrating, and so supporting individuals and groups having get-together. So I'm building up my portfolio right now. But currently, I'm making resin products, bags, wine bottles, holders, and things like that. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. That is a good introduction. If you put that in a video, that's about the right length and the right message there. So let's make that into a video and send us a copy of it. Lots of good information and products that you're offering. Thank you so much. Tasha, Boxy of Love. All right, I like that. I looked at your presentations and such as that on Facebook. It looks like you're just getting it started up. Do you have anything you'd like to bring to us tonight?
Actually, I was using this class at a community center that I'm building up as a nonprofit. I do have a business with similar to, but I'm actually doing my homework on a community center for nonprofit.
Right. Okay, well, thank you for sharing.
I'll resend you that information because I thought you received it, and I was wondering if we're in for business you got that.
All right. I appreciate you so much. And y'all give me a little bit of freedom here, a little slack, because sometimes it's hard to keep things apart. And if I get confused on it, you tell me how to straighten it out, and I'll go back and correct my errors. And Robbie, you're going to be the highlight of tonight. Thank you for being with us and for what you're doing. I've met Robbie before. We're actually friends and cross paths quite often down at White Lake. But Robbie James is the owner of James Trading Company over in Roseboro, North Carolina. And I passed by 1,000 times and such as that, but never did I dream how great and vibrant the business is. Robbie's a little town there in Roseboro, but it's a proud town, and people from all around shop there. And he's competing with the big box stores everywhere, the Lowe's and the Targets and Home Depots, and it's just an amazing that such a small town and can support such a great business. And I'm so proud of that great logo, Robbie. Thank you for coming forward with that. I'm going to share some things that I found on the internet with really good presentations at your website. And this area right up here, like on my website, is a slideshow that changes all the time. So wherever you are on the website. There's always something going on. It's interesting. So let me encourage y'all to visit James Trading Company and see the different ways that he is reaching out to customers in so many different ways, in good ways. The main theme that he is touching and the presentations bring forth is this is a personality place. This is a place we build relationships so that you notice you're coming to deal with families and friends in your neighborhood. And just that type of warmth that serves as a magnet to bring people to you. And all of us need to do that in our business any way we can to make it more warm and inviting to come. Robbie's got an amazing diversifications, as most hardware stores do, but he takes it even to the nth degree that I'll share with you, and shares that online, such as that. So the key is getting more people to visit these online presentations. I'm using a lot of slides here on James Trading because he touches on a lot of things that we'll talk about all series long. You want to have as many big name and well-known name products to sell, because when you can offer those trademarks and those logos, customers recognize them and feel comfortable with them, therefore they'll feel comfortable with you. The key is these nationwide known logos have already sold themselves. So if you can use those and present them and let people know you've got them by the logo name, it will automatically start bringing people into your store and make your marketing so much more effective. Robbie's also gone and has web pages there where whatever it is you're looking for online, you can click on the page. So whoever did these web pages for you did it really good. But the message at the bottom that I've got the red line to is the key on this page. He's saying to these people, let us know what you want. Let us know what you need. And when we talk next week about marketing, our marketing plan is all about getting information from customers about what are you going to need the next time you're ready to spend money. And if we can listen to that and get that information into our system, that's the key here. Asking the question is important. So congratulations there. But when people do give you that feedback, do you figure out how to get that product on their shelf or a way that you can sell it to them? That's how you'll know what's next, is getting the feedback from your customers. He's done a really great job with my Google, my business on Google. Does a good job there. That's something I want all of you to do. Several of you asked me about that in questions this week. So next week when we're talking about marketing, having your business represented at Google, so very important, right, Sarah? That's what we want to do, and we got a pro right up here that'll help you do it to make this a part of your plan. It's like having a free website, and not only is there a website that's almost free to you, it's one that's got a map, it's one that gives our customers the abilities to have reviews and to go forward from that. Now, notice here in Robbie's Google, he's got his map here. He's got a good picture of his business. Just a good thing to do, and I want all of you to try to get there. Something that you don't see often with a hardware store or small town business is any business with 80 reviews. So I'm really proud of the number of reviews that it's getting in. And let me tell you, when you're dealing with the public in general, whether it's a small town or a big town, you're going to get some reviews sometimes that are not so positive. I mean, that's part of dealing with the public. Everybody can't be 100% satisfied. But what I like about what Robbie does, he monitors it really, really close. So he gets in a review that someone was mentioning that his price was a little high on something. He was right back straight to that customer saying, thank you for letting us know about that. We'll make arrangements to correct that. That is so important. When you can take a negative and turn it into a positive or a neutral, that is a big win for you. Customers like to know that, well, if I go in there and something isn't just right, maybe I can get a remedy and be okay. But I was happy to go on there and put a little review in for Robbie and stuck it right in there. And I want to let you know that the next morning I got a thank you for it, and I really appreciate that. So having 80 reviews with a 4.7 is an amazingly great score for a public serving business like any hardware operation. So that's where I went in, dropped in, said hello to him, and he came right back with a thank you for that. That's good relationship building. That's the greatest example I can show for you. Notice that at his Facebook page, over 2,000 followers. That's pretty amazing as well. Each of you want to be on Facebook with your business, and you want to learn how to create a lot of followers, and we can help you with that. We'll talk about that in week 4, how to create the most following that you can get. Because when you have that many followers and you keep active posts up, thousands and thousands of people are seeing your marketing effort every day, and that just gives you the ability to have a sustainable business. It takes work. You have to stay on top of it. You can't be lazy. Maybe you even need to have somebody in your business help you get there to do it. But thank you, Robbie, for giving us a great example. Another thing we've talked about is seasonal. Be aware of the seasons. And he's doing a perfect job with that. Every season, be it Father's Day, be it Mother's Day, into the fall seasons now, he's promoting those seasons, and that keeps his business alive and vibrant. He brings special people into his parking lot, sets up vendors with apparently a seafood operation comes in and sets up and has seafood for sale on certain days. Yes, people will follow those vendors around. I mean, they have a loyal following, and if you can bring them into your parking lot or next door on the lot, those people will come there, and there's a good chance that if you're doing a good job with your outside displays, you'll get some of that business too, and it really didn't cost you a penny, but it made you a ton of work. And something special, because I was a company that had lots of trucks like this, when you are able to support your community efforts, something special going on in town, and you've got the ability or the facility to provide a truck or something for the people to put the community entertainment or whatever it is on play. If you're out there silent, not costing you anything, but whose name is on the door, who does everyone see? It's that silent and continuing pressure and message that, hey, I'm a part of this community, I love this community, and I'm willing to serve every way that I can. That's what creating relationships is all about. Folks who never did business with you before might have come to hear this particular group playing music, saw your name on the side of the truck that was helping them, and it registers, and the relationship has started building. I can't tell you how impressive all your work is done. Let's give Robbie a hand. Let's give him those thumbs. Let's say really good work, Robbie. I appreciate it. And would you have any comment that you would like to make? Robbie, are you still with us? You may have had to leave. You'll see this tomorrow then. So what I'm showing you now is, with the little bit of information that y'all shared with me, in just a little over a week, I'm able to take this information and put together presentations for you. You can do this for yourself and use what I'm doing as a guide to start promoting your business. Do it different ways. Share your information. Share the things you're doing with Sarah up here. She's going to have her email address written right here in chat. Maybe she can give you some ideas as well as to how Google might be able to help your business. But put it out there. Let people see it. Yeah, it may need some improvement. That's okay. Any plan is better than no plan. So that's what we're talking about tonight. Thank you so much for participating. And those that I haven't heard from yet, I'm looking forward to it. So excited about hearing from you. When you get the survey, please fill it out. Take you 60 seconds. It'll come into the mail. Send it back. Ruthie will appreciate it, and she'll be able to better fine-tune her webinar programs in the future if you do it. Let's talk about some chat now. Everybody you got your chat board there. Tell me what your favorite dessert is. What is your favorite dessert? This is really important, because someone who is out here looking for something, you've got a favorite dessert, like mine is banana pudding. Oh boy, banana pudding. Somebody type in banana pudding for me. I don't have a chance to do it, but I want it right in there. Strawberry shortcake, upside down cake, pig picking cakes. Man, I love them all. What's your favorite? Cherry pie, cheesecake, brownies. Holy moly. Thank you for the banana pudding, Doctor. I appreciate you. I love all that stuff. I want I want you to feel like doing business is like having dessert every meal. Yeah, that's what entrepreneurship can be. A German chocolate cake, Tasha, you're the one. I'd like that. Okay, when you go into sleep now, eating good desserts is important, but you know what's better is to fill up on it and be able to enjoy a good night's sleep. So my question to you is, and I've got a reason for asking this, when you're sleeping, do you want background noise or do you want quiet? So the answer would either be quiet or noise. What's the answer for that? Yeah, I like a dark, quiet, cold room is my favorite. Pure quiet. I got more quiet. I like the sounds of rain. Yeah, that's pretty good. Down at the camper when it's raining, it's better to sleep. Quiet background, white noise, very interesting. Noise. You know, a lot of what we hear on the TV today, especially in advertising, is just plain noise. On these webinars, you may say it's just plain noise. But the key is that if you're hearing it, it's taking up brain power. I want to tell you that you need to be out there putting as much good information, that fresh bait in the water, as much good information as you can to your customers. But be careful not to let it just become noise. Be careful not to let it just become noise. Let it have meaning. Let it have that look and hook about it. The look and hook will be important, just not noise. And we also got to remember that at times we just have to turn off all the noise and all the chatter and just be still and know. Be still and know that God will look after you. You don't need all this stuff going on, but be still, charge your battery, then get back in the game. But sometimes you just have to stop and reevaluate what all we're doing. That's hard to do sometimes, but just give that some thought. Maybe it don't make a lot of sense now, but it'll come to you. Okay, do you make up your bed every morning? Be truthful now. The truth will set you free. When you get up out of bed in the morning, every day, is it your plan to make up the bed so that when you turn around and look back at it, the bed's all made up and looks good? I'm seeing some yeses and I'm seeing some nos. I got a semi. That means sometimes I do and sometimes I don't, I guess. Cynthia's saying, yes, I made that bed. Are you telling the truth now? Is that true, Cynthia? Okay, I believe you. Drew says yes. Well, I want to tell you, it's important, according to a lot of experts, and especially those that have been around a while, that when we get up in the morning, we make our bed up nice, tight. Maybe you don't have to thump a quarter on it like we did in the military, but a lot of experts say it's kind of an important thing to do. You know why? Military people will tell you that at boot camp, they make the recruits learn how to make up a bed so tight that you can put a quarter on it and it bounces up and down. So what's that got to do with a small business plan, Steve-O? Well, it's kind of simple. And I've lived it, so I believe it. If when you get up in the morning and part of your DNA is telling you, I'm not going to leave this room until I make my bed up and it looks good and I'm proud of it. What that does to you subconsciously and getting your day started, according to these experts, certainly not according to me because I'm not an expert, but you start off the day with mission accomplished. You have a job in front of you, you do it right, and therefore your day gets started with a positive note. Isn't that interesting? Yes, I can do this just right, and my first thing I'm going to do today, I'm going to complete it, it's going to be right. So when you turn and you look at that bed and you walk out of the room, it's on a positive step. How about that? Very simple, but you know, I think there's some meaning to it. I've watched my military friends through the years. I believe it. No matter what service that you're in, it does make a difference. When you can start the day out on a positive note, it's a good thing. Now, the next question is, and I'm not going to push you here on this, did you make it neat and tight or you just throw it back together? Just throw it back together. You know, I believe that too, and for oftentimes I just throw mine back together. So Tasha's got some interesting comments there. I agree with you 100%. Mine's not always tight, but it's always made up now. So remember, you attend these webinars, you can win some certificate, and we want all of you to get the certificates. And there's lots of details and handouts about others that you can get. My job is to motivate and to have friends, and I want to tell you I am so pleased with the motivation that y'all shown this past week. The words of the week. Last week, our first word, do you remember what it was? Remember what the word was last week? It started with the letter S. Type it in over on the chat board. So people are already clamming in there. Yes, that word is shrewd. Shrewd was our word last week, and it's all about being smart, being savvy, being clever, moving our thinking process up to the next level. Moving it up to the next level. So we do want to be shrewd, and we want to use that word and see how we can play it. This week, the word is mindfulness. Mindfulness. You know, before I started using this past year as one of our words, I had never used that word very much, but I'm finding it to be pretty interesting because it is a state of consciousness that you are being alert, that you're waking up. Robbie and I had a conversation a few weeks ago that kind of typed in on this. It's one thing to go to work every day and deal with our customers and put out our fires and deal with the things we do and then call it a day and get on home and just kind of flowing down the river with the flow. There's so much going on. But when we can kick in a little extra gray matter thinking to be more mindfulness about what's going on around us and hear our customers more, that's a good sense to have. That's a good thing to be doing. And I want to encourage us all to be more mindful and mindfulness in what that we're doing. Practice the right things. Look for the resolutions that bring new paths to do that. Consciousness, being attention, awareness is really, because it's so easy to go through a whole day and never really have your radar turned on, I guess is what you said. And when we're dealing with customers, we can learn more information sometimes by what they don't say than what they do say. So have that radar turned on. It can go a long, long way. That's just some good information, but it's kind of like living in the moment. We've heard that term right much. See how you can live in the moment this coming week with your mindfulness and shrewdness. Homework challenges are certainly in front of you, and I've shown y'all all. Some of you have done them all, and I'm proud of you, and I'll be giving you some more because we certainly don't keep busy and we don't stay motivated. So thank you with all the work that you're doing. I'd like for you to find me at Facebook and give me a friend, give me a shout out, because I'm going to be really interested in following how you're making your presentations there. Most of you have already connected with. Look forward to seeing some more. We've got some new folks with us tonight, and glad to have you on board with us. Visit the Academy of Entrepreneurs and Associates Facebook page. Make comments there. Join the group. Go forward from time to time. Make presentations as you like to promote your business, and I'll be doing the same. So we've got a Facebook page for the Academy. If you're searching for me, it's Steve Carver. It's just a blue sky with the sunshine coming down. I look forward to connecting with you there. Your job is to find the endurance to stay in the game. Don't get burned out. Stay in the game. Find the endurance to be there. That's what we'll try to do. The 40 drill skills now. We talked about 6 of them last week, and tonight we're going to pick up and talk about some more. Those of you that are new, we've got a few. Look at your handouts. You'll learn more about it. I encourage everyone to rewrite those drill skills. It'll really help you. So this week, you ready? By the way, BY, the way. By the way are the 3 most important words that if you're planning on getting a tattoo this week, that's what I want on your forehead. By the way, because they are the most important 3 words for an entrepreneur in today's world. By the way is the way we take all these profit centers and connect the dots in such a way that we're able to say, thank you for buying this product from me, or thank you for buying this service from me. And by the way, I can also have this. And by the way, I also have that. The more products that you can lead customers through with upsells, that's what I'm talking about now, upsells, the more profits that you're going to make. We saw what Robbie did with his website saying, yes, I've got this product, and by the way, I've got all this store full of other things that will help you complete the sale. If I was going to write a new book today, now I've written 5 small publications, I think I would call it Completing the Sale, a guide for new sales folks or people marketing. Learn how to help the customer make that first sale and then move right on to upsells, completing his purchase. That's where the real profits are in small businesses today, I believe. Learning how to help customers complete their sales. So if you want to write a book, there's your title right there. Go for it. I think it'll be a good seller. The 3 most important rules when catching fish. We talked about them last week. Keep fresh bait in the water, keep fresh bait in the water, keep fresh bait in the water. The 3 most important rules for catching customers is keep sending out fresh promotions. As we've just been talking about different ways to do that, we got to remember to keep doing it, and it is so easy to become distracted doing other things that we put that on the back shelf because you said, well, I just did that last week. I think I'll pass this week. You can't keep putting it off. Procrastination does not work with promotions. You got to keep them coming out. Now, in week 4, the question is how to find customers. But I don't give you the answer to that right now. And then week 4, we'll show you how to do it. What's the best way to find customers? Help them find you. What's the best way to find customers? Help them find you. So go to your chat board. I want this to kind of sink in, and if you type it in at chat, it'll help you remember it. That's why I want you to do it. The question is, what's the best way to find customers? And in chat, you'll type in, that's right, Robbie, thank you so much. Rose, that's right. What's the best way to find customers? Is help them find you. Thank you all so much. Why? Because if you're out here chasing every customer here and there one at a time, man, how much energy and money is that going to take up? But if you're back at the store or back at the business and you're bringing the customers to you, then you're going to be able to do millions more times business. The key ingredient is you got to be a magnet with your marketing to bring them to you. All those things that we talked about that Robbie was doing, and he's a marketing pro, doing a really good job. But what we're going to help him do is help more people find these messages that he's got out there. The messages are out there, but now we want people to find it. And the rest of us that are trying to figure out how to go about making it happen, just go to Robbie's site and you'll get 25 great ideas that we can use as examples. Your business cannot be all things to all people. But what we're going to remember, it must be everything to some people. Our business can't be all things to all people like Walmart, but it must be everything to some people. So in chat, I'm going to ask you, our business must be what to some people? Our business must be what to some people? That's right, type it right in there. Our business must be everything to some people. What this is saying is, remember all that chatter and all that noise? We're going to focus on saying and doing the things that help us focus our message to those some people who will be most likely to do business with us. That's the key, to some people. So, money. You're getting started, you're going to start having some really good days, and there'll be times that you're bringing a lot of money and you have an overflow, and you say, man, this is great. I don't pay off some old bills. I got some debts that I'm paying interest on. I'm going to pay them off. And that's a happy day that you have that opportunity. But here I have to say as a business coach, caution. If you've got a little extra money, put some aside, create a rainy day fund. Create a reserve account, because there's going to be unexpected expenses that come along. And most new businesses that go under early is because some expenses came along, knocked them out of the saddle, they didn't have any resources to go forward. So as you start collecting money and such as that, remember, if you've got long-term debts that are paying their own way, congratulations, that's what you wanted. You pay those debts off on time, pay them off the first of each month so it helps your credit score. But it's just as important that you keep some reserve money aside so that you can take care of good deals that come and also unexpected expenses as they come along. There's two words that we'll be focusing on next week, mainly marketing and advertising. So right now, let me just frame these in that marketing is the big picture. It encompasses everything marketing. But I want us to start thinking that advertising is the short-term campaigns that we run. So advertising will be a piece of the marketing pie. The marketing budget that we're going to talk about tonight will always be the bigger budget. The advertising budget will be those that we focus on with our individual profit centers. So we'll have to plug those into that. Who is your toughest and meanest competitor? The answer is you, yourself, and the distractions that we have. We have to learn to manage those distractions, set priorities, manage our distractions, and get done the things that have to get done, even if we have to push some other things aside. Priority setting is the way that we start moving forward with new things that we've got to accomplish. Can you define fair market value? Now, one of the goals that I will have for you through this class session is that fair market value becomes really just something natural to you that you fully understand. And the definition of it is very important. It will be one of your end of course quiz questions for those that want to join the academy and to pass that quiz. But fair market value, as you're just entering the world of entrepreneurship, is a foundation situation. If you're going to be selling something, and you are, you need to know what the fair market value of that item is, so that when you go out to buy it, you will always purchase it below fair market value, so you can sell it above fair market value. That's how you build in a given profit that's going to come your way. Whether you're buying wholesale or creating things as a craft or putting raw materials together, you want to know what the cost is, the fair market value buying it wholesale, so that then you can sell it for the retail price. And knowing fair market value is the best way to do that. There's a lot of prices. There's a lot of values that people talk about, millions of them. Matter of fact, there's nothing stopping you or I to put any price we want to on anything, just right out of the air. But there is one price in the whole world that is constant, and it's the law, the U.S. government regulations. And that says that fair market value is the price of something, that what it will sell for in the open market when the buyer and the seller are under no pressure. And both of them know the game. They're knowledgeable with this product. And when they can come together on a price, then that's the fair market value. Who is the people in our world that make a living dealing with fair market value? What is that vocation called? And it's a good vocation. It's being an appraiser, real estate or other type of appraisers. They deal, number one, with fair market value. If you want more information about fair market value, if you have an interest in being an appraiser, and I am a certified appraiser, then that's a good thing to go for. So keep that in mind. Know that fair market value will be coming up often. L and H advertising. L and H advertising. The L for look, the H for hook. The look is telling us that when we're putting advertising and marketing out there in the world, we want it to look good. We want it to look good enough that it will hold people's attention long enough to read it. Not just junk, not just noise, but good, solid advertising. Short to the sweet with a good message that will hold someone's attention. But the hook is the call to action. And a call to action is saying that we remember to put in our advertising a reason for people to come on right now and let's do business. A certificate, a discount, a closing date, things are running out, prices are going up. Give them a reason to let's do business now. Otherwise, it's just noise. But if you've got a hook in there, that is a motivating factor. And if you have a motivating factor included in your ads, you're going to be able to see if they were productive or not, because you can see how much business you did between point A date and point B date when it terminated, and determine if the ad was working. And if it was, but if it wasn't, that's how you don't keep wasting money on ads that don't work. Yeah, the look and the hook is so important. The call to action. Now, let's get in now to talking about business planning, budgeting, and such as that. We all are familiar with, I imagine, as we were getting started managing our own money, the basic budget. We would basically figure that we had X amount of revenue coming in, X amount of money to deal with, and I need to do this and I need to do that, but I got this amount of expenses, so how far can I make it go? So let's just use a slide here as a way to kind of get thinking about budgeting. Because if we're just getting our business started and we really are guessing at everything, it's hard to take all these guesses and formulate it into a business plan. And I know that. Sometimes you really have to be in business 2 or 3 years before you can come forward with a document that looks like a really credible, knowledgeable, spot-on business plan, and most of us aren't there yet. So we don't deal with what we're going to deal with and be happy. Before tonight's over, I'm going to give you a template that you can put your business plan together tonight, and it is never going to be complete. Mine is never going to be complete, but you can sure get started, and so we'll be able to make progress. So I've got $7,000 of revenue coming in, and we have to always subdivide in what are the things that I need and what are the things that I want, and do I have some debts I got to pay? These are always going to be part of your budgeting situation in business or in private life. So the things that I need is $4,200 worth. The things that I want are $2,100 worth. 60% need, 30% things I want, and I need to pay some debt, 10%. So that's where we're going to start, right there. And it's time to move forward. You want to make some changes. You want to change some priorities. So you want to move forward so that your revenues, you're thinking you want to move your revenues from $7,000 up $3,000 to $10,000. Because if you can have $10,000 and you can keep your expenses at 60%, then you'll be able to move the things you want up to 30% and have $4,800 for that and save $1,000. So taking your business plan, taking your revenue thinking with what you can do with one profit center or 2 or 3 profit centers, and after our sessions, increase those profit centers up to 4 or 5 or 6 or 10 or 20, you can see how those revenues can just soar, and then you've got lots more money for the things you need and the things you want, and can really put together some savings. What is the point? The point is we improve our business revenues, we improve our ability to do things we want and need by increasing profit centers, because oftentimes you can increase your profit centers without really raising your overhead hardly at all. So that's what this is all about. We'll talk about now, let's get into the business planning and structuring a plan so that it makes sense using profit centers as models. That's what we're going to do. 5 steps. Talk about what is the plan, why have it, what's the planner all about, what are models all about, and how are we going to go about connecting these things to end up with a plan. Why do you want a business plan? You want to avoid unexpected expenses and pitfalls. Main thing, you want to think in advance with our gray matter, figure out what's coming our way before we ever get on the highway, and have some risk management things in place. We want a business plan to kind of give us a map of where we want to go from here and how fast to get there. That's what Sarah did. She did a 6-month plan, in 1 year, 2 years, 5-year plans. That's looking way forward and said, oh man, I don't even buy green bananas. Why in the world I want to look at a 5-year plan if I don't even buy green bananas? That's how short term my thinking is. Got to get past that. It don't hurt to buy the green bananas, and it also don't hurt to put a plan down in place and try to get to where you'd like to be thinking about it. If you're doing that, you're going to have a lot better chance of ending up where you want to be by having a chart. You know, when the ship pulls out of Wilmington, North Carolina, he gets out there, gets past the sea buoy and the light tower and such as that, or the light station, and gets out in the middle of the ocean, and he can't see land anywhere. That captain can't see land anywhere. But let me tell you this, no matter how the tides are blowing him back or carrying him back and forth, no matter how the winds are trying to take him here or there and the currents are moving him all around, everything's moving on that ship. Well, in a business, everything's pushing you from point to point. That sea captain's got his charts, he's got his Loran, he's got his GPS, and I'll tell you that with his instruments and his smartness and his training and his sadness and savvy and his shrewdness and his mindfulness, he will end up across the ocean right at where the sea buoy is going into the port he wants to go at. Never saw land, saw some stars, maybe even never saw another ship. How does he do that? He does it the same way that you will manage your business. You will manage your business by having the tools in your tool belt, the knowledge and the savvy, and a business plan. That's why we want to have it. That's why it's important. The business plan numerically is looking at your estimated income and subtracting your estimated expenses to know what's left. That's what the business plan is going to tell you. How much money is going to be left at the end of the day after I subtract my estimated expenses from my estimated income, because that's what you're doing now. Several of you here with us tonight have already started on your business plan, but I know for sure that one or two of you, because I mentioned it, you seem to stay away from this area about applying the money. So tonight, the budget part of this is about how to get the money into your business plan to figure out if you don't have red or black ink and how to get there. A question I need to ask you, is your business going to be a side hustle? In other words, just something extra to what you're doing now? Do you think your business will be a part-time business, or do you think it'll be a full-time business? Let's just say that in 2 years, you still going to be doing what you're doing, but you're going to have this little side hustle on the side. If that's the case, type in side hustle. If you're going to keep doing what you're doing now, a good steady job, but you want additional income, it's going to be regular and it's going to be sustainable, but it's going to be a part-time business for you. Type in part-time. But you're moving towards setting up a full-scale business that you're going to depend on for a living, and it's going to be important to you, and you're going to give all your energy towards making this business work. That'll be a full-time work. So all of us looking over at the chat board, wow, we're getting a lot of good responses. And sometimes it's all the above. I know that. Things change. There's someone just typed that in. And it's important that we know where we're headed as we write that in like that. It's important that we know where we're headed. We'll do things different in our business plan. Now, money and time, is this business that you're working on going to be your only income, second job, or maybe even third job? That's interesting. I didn't say profit centers here. I said incomes, like you've already got retirement plans or another full-time job or annuity, or maybe you got a rich uncle somewhere that sends you a check every month. Congratulations. Let me see if you adopt me. At any rate, give that some thought. How much time is going to be involved? I see some only incomes in here. That's important. How many dependents do you have? How many mouths are need to be fed, cared for, and looked after? I mean, like babies, pets. How many folks are going to depend on you to make this work? That puts some seriousness into it. And we need to think about that as we are going forward. No babies, all right, just me and myself, somebody said. Here's a kind of a good little factor, and none of you I didn't see wrote in the side hustle, but if this thing that you're starting as a side hustle is just an extra thing that you're doing, I want to say to you that it's going to be a little bit easier for you than someone that's trying to do a full-time, I'm depending on this business, because the side hustle is actually just another profit center for you. So it will become less complicated to deal with, and you won't have to put all the time in it because you've already got an established income producing situation around yourself, an income umbrella. So side hustle is a little forward, excuse me. And when we get into analyzing our income models and our expense models, the side hustles will be easier to deal with as well. Less stress because they're not your primary income. Sometimes no or very little startup cost. Sometimes you've already got established customers and a lower cost of doing business. So with Robbie with an established business already, and me with an established business, and David with an established business already, if we want to add a new profit center, that profit center may become just another side hustle that we're doing. Through the years, I added new profit centers with government contracting, commercial loan masters, commercial mowing, another side hustle that I did with my certified appraising, with my teaching, entrepreneur teaching, such as that. But that didn't change my overall business plan for my whole organization. And if that's the case, then we'll keep it less complicated for you if that's what you're doing. But we got to have a little caution here. I got to raise a little flag. Because through the years, I've helped people get side hustles started. And it started, they were so excited about doing this extra work, that they indeed forgot what their main mission and goal was in life, what their main income, what their main charge was, what their might call to duty. And Tamara, you can probably identify with this, with your experiences through the years. Sometimes we can get really excited about this new thing, this the greener pasture over here, and we start giving all our time or a lot of our time and resources to it, and we take our focus off the main bus. We take our focus off the main power that keeps us going and forward, and we let this little side hustle become maybe too important to us, that it hurts us overall, and indeed our power and our capacity is diminished because we didn't remember those dots in the circle that we talked about last week. We were making decisions to add profit centers or side hustles that put a bump in the road of our main vehicle, of our main business. Got to be careful not to do that. There's room for all of this to succeed, but we have to keep our dots in a row and not lose our perspective on that. So one of the ways to really help us keep things in line is to have a pre-planner goals, target goals and mileposts to put down. Anything that we're getting ready to change in our business, a major change we're making in our business, it's good to put a calendar down, a 6-month calendar, and determine what has to be done to end up with a completed project. So I've given you an example here, and all this is in your handout. In that handout that starts out with the number 1133. What does the handout do for you? What does this plan do for you? It helps you start putting together a roadmap. The first part of your business plan is to have an idea of where you're at now and what you started and what you got to achieve. So I've used this as a guide that we're going to start next month, And indeed, if you're thinking about getting your business started, maybe you've already accomplished a lot of this, and some of you have accomplished all of it. But if you're just getting started, let's look at 30 days from now. We want a good list to determine what our products and services are. That's what I ask you for, a menu of what you're doing. What do you know now, and what do you not know that you need to know? And that's a question nobody knows the answer to, of course, but you've got a good idea of what your strengths and your weaknesses are. And if you hang good with that list of skills, real skills, that will show you a good idea of what you're going to need going forward. So spend some time with those drill skills, and it'll give you a good idea where you're weak and where you're not weak at. Write down this menu of products and services that you think you're going to do and put some prices beside of it. Put some prices beside what are you going to charge. Now, Sarah, I don't believe I saw that in your plan, and I didn't see it in others either, because it's kind of one of the most difficult things to write down. But really, once you get your menu of products and services, then put your pencil to that paper and start putting numbers down. And I will guarantee you they're not going to be wrong and they're not going to be right, but they will be changed. Okay? But you need a starting point, so start determining how you're going to price your items and how it stacks up in the marketplace, which we'll come to. Now, in 60 days, like November 15th, I want you to have a list of your targeted customers. And in week 4, we're going to talk about targeting customers. And for each one of your profit centers, I want you to have a defined definition for what that customer looks like. Why? Because once we have that definition, we can put together a marketing plan to focus right on them, not worry about the rest of the world. Can't be all things to all people, but we're going to try to be everything to those particular people who are our best possible subjects. Let's think about doing some location searching. If you don't have a bricks and mortar business, where is it going to be? If you don't put out a good marketing campaign, or you don't focus that marketing at. And what are these startup costs that you may have? What are the startup costs that's probably going to come into play? There'll be a lot of talk about startup costs. December 15th, 90 days away. Got some money coming in. How are we going to do our banking? I'm going to tell you right now, I want you to separate your personal money from your business money. Start keeping up with your business money separately. Keep a good list of all the investments and times that you are, money that you're spending, things that you're buying on behalf of your new business, because indeed that list will become the assets of the business, and it will create a proof that you have invested in your business. And when the business gets up and rolling, it needs to pay you back. You're making a loan to your business, and it needs to pay you back. So later on down the road, we're also going to talk about our marketing campaign and budgets. We'll start talking about them tonight and next week, but we'll be good at it. You will, at this point in time, as you enter our classes now, 4 or 5 weeks, learn that you really need to know how to negotiate. And part of negotiating is to be able to forecast the future. Forecast what is going to be happening. Yeah, we don't have a crystal ball, but with good business planning and thinking, we can make some really reliable forecasting. I'm going to tell you now, all through the rest of the series, you will become a great negotiator the minute that you start becoming a great forecaster. And we will learn that negotiating is all about preparation. Go into the negotiation really well prepared to know what your goals are and how to get there. That's so important that you'll be working in that direction. About January, hey, it's time to start doing some marketing. We're 90 days from opening up. We need to let people know that we're in business. So all of you that are out here getting started in your business and such as that, just like True's done, got our information out on Facebook, putting out feelers about doing business with commercial operators. Let's stay in business. Let's see what it is. And this is the time right now that you will start focusing on that group of customers who are maybe new to the community. Because who is the easiest people for you to bring in to your fold is people that are new, that haven't got allegiances to anybody else in the community. So if you're in a small town, you want to give some thought in saying, you know, a target group of customers are people that are coming in here new, folks that are buying new houses and such as that, are renting, because they're not affiliated with anyone else. And I mentioned to Robbie, that would be a great marketing thing to think about, is how to work with real estate agents in such a way to make sure that your information goes out in a package, and maybe you would offer some special deals to people that are new to the county in their first time purchases. Things like that go a long way to starting new relationships right away with people. Next month, getting close now, only 60 days away. You got some inventory, you got some stock, got some staff. Are you training yourself? Are you thinking about having a soft opening? What does soft opening mean? That means that you're going to do some business with this new profit center or this new company, but you're going to do it kind of low key with certain customers. You know, fill out the pricing, fill out your method of doing the business, collecting the money, running it through your accounting system, how you're treating the customer, how the customer reacted, kind of test run. The caution here is, which is coming up right now, we're going to talk about our grand opening, is we don't want to have a large grand opening, bring in a lot of new customers, have just be overwhelmed with work to do, with not enough staff, and not really knowing what we're doing to the point that we make a less than really good impression. A less than really good impression. We want, from day one after we have our grand opening, to be creating raving fan customers. Raving fan customers. That is so very important. Let's see what Dr. Thomas said. I would like to see how some timeline items shift to align with consulting business. All righty, I'll give that some thought, and I appreciate the challenge. I hadn't done that before, but since I'm in the consulting business, I can do that. Now, it's time now to go big guns. What are you doing to make a splash? What are you doing to be a Disneyland? You know what Disneyland does for all of us? I've been there a couple of times, and maybe y'all have. If you haven't, I'll tell you. They make every person that comes down to those gates every day feel like that they have just opened this park just for you. That's the theme that comes back. The music, the costumes, the fireworks, the presentation is all about you are the most welcome person in the world, and we're not here to make you happy. If we have that goal at our grand opening, we're going to start from day one creating raving fan customers. So put together a calendar for your business. Put together for one, because these things will change, just like Dr. Tamara mentioned. It would be different for each and every business, but the challenge is there for us, right? Okay, good news. With this template, which you can print right off of your handout and fill in the blanks because it's a Word file, you can put together your first business plan if you hadn't done it already, and several of you have done it already, so that's just fine. But still, you can come back here and start with this simple file and name it your business plan, your business, and just go forward. Look back at the video tomorrow and at what some of y'all have already done and get some ideas from the other folks as well. Your business name, your basic information, social security number, get it in paper. Now, if you're planning on giving this information out, then you might want to leave your social security number off or just put a bunch of zeros across there, okay? So tell me what your products and solutions are. These solutions. If you're a problem solver, say that I'm going to be solving problems and talk about the solutions that you bring. As you're writing your mission vision statements, that might be a good approach to do. The problem is this, our solution is this. It's good facts that people look forward to. Talk about the regions that you want to serve. Do you want to serve just people locally, statewide, nationwide? Talk about it. Who are your best potential customers? Brand new folks just starting their business, or people that want to revitalize their business, or the different types of shoppers, moms, babies. Be as specific with it as you can, though. What are the most important marketing seasons of your business. And every business, they have some seasons that are more favorable than others. Put your mind to work and think about which ones they might be. Because how else can you do good forecasting if you don't know when your main busy seasons will probably be? If you got an opening date in mind, let's write it down, and then you can build a planner to get you there. See, all these are simple one-liners usually. Some of them will require some thinking, but not a lot. What tools are you going to need? What money do you need to actually get started up? And how are you going to use these items if you're just going to put down a number of amount of money that you want? That don't work. Going into a loan officer or talking with someone that may be trying to help you, you say, hey, if you'll give me $20,000, I'll start this business. I don't say, well, how are you going to use that? I want to know. I want to see how you're connecting those dots that we talk about from time to time. What are the marketable profit centers and how are they going to work? How much generate, estimating the amount of money that each center will be generating from you. And then beside that, what are they going to cost you? And what are the other items that are going to cost you in your business? Tell how much you've invested in the business so far and where you plan to go after that. Just take this sheet of paper, use your Word files and redo it in your words that apply to you. Now, if you're planning on for a loan application, you're going to need your signature, you're going to need a copy of your startup budget, which we'll get to a little later, and a financial statement. And what is a financial statement? That's a statement that shows what your net worth is, what your assets are, what your debts are, and what's left, okay? Now, specifically, we're going to talk about budgeting now. Time-wise, let me see how we're coming along. Moving, okay, we're okay so far. You don't need certain tools when you do your budgeting. This is really elementary. Remember the profit centers, the marketable profit centers. We need a list of at least 5 of those, which many of you have already come up with. We don't need to have, the more diversified that group is, the better the chance is you're going to have more cash flow. The more cash flow that you have, the better manageable budget you will have. Your profit centers will generate money for you, but they will also cost you money. There'll be a cost factor in. So you'll have a model for the money, you'll have a model or a block for the money that they generate, then we'll have one for the money that it takes to keep them going. So let's go back and take a deep breath, get you a drink of water or tea or whatever you're sipping on. Let's play with some Lego blocks now, okay? We don't use the medium of the Lego blocks and say we're going to build our business plan with Lego blocks. Each one of the blocks will have different notes on it and will be fitted into a different place depending on whether or not they are income blocks or expense blocks. We're going to take all these things that we've been thinking about, write it down on the blocks, stack them up in a nice stack so we can take our add machine and see what all it adds up to it, see what the bottom line is for our income and what the bottom line is for our expenses. Subtract one for the other, and if it's red ink, we need to make some changes because we're spending more than we're bringing in. If it's black ink, hey, we're headed in the right direction. We're headed towards profitability. But let me tell you, before we even get there, before we even pour the blocks out on the floor, our first stacks are probably going to end up with red ink at the bottom because it usually costs a lot more money to do things than we see it coming in at first. So let's move along now and play with these blocks. So here's an example that we're getting started now. We got some income on the left and expenses on the right. This is for a for-profit organization. And usually I have a good mix of people doing for-profit businesses and non-profit. So I'll talk about both of them in case maybe that might play into your thinking as well. In this particular scenario, we got new customers bringing in $3,900. We got package deals bringing in $21,000. We got some big ticket sales for $58,000. So we've ended up with an $82,000 income projection projection now because we're just guessing. That's all we can do right now. But then I got over on my expense side and thought about how much money I wanted to make in my other expenses, and it looks like that I got $37,000 in debts to pay, $14,000 in insurance premiums, $85,000 in payroll. So if I go with my plan, I'm going to spend $136,000, almost $137,000. What does that look like, guys? That's red ink in the amount of $54,395. Holy moly, my business plan is not doing real well here, is it? Just the way it is. The good thing about doing a business plan is to see these numbers in real. Because we know right now that if I don't make some changes, change some priorities, do some different things with some blocks, then my business isn't going to even get started off the ground, is it? I'll be losing too much money. So let's see what might happen. If I decide I need to really improve my income, which I did, to the point that I need to improve that income about $75,000, then I need to add some new profit centers to $75,000 worth. And if I do that and then mix it in with what else I had before, then I'll be bringing in enough money to have a surplus of $20,600. That's right. Adding profit centers is one way to improve your business plan, income-wise. Cutting expenses is the other way. And you know what? There's no in-between. It's either or a piece of both actions. But have it in writing so you'll have a good idea. So as y'all are doing your business plans, it's one thing to talk about all the pie in the sky and what you want to achieve, but you must get to the point that you're serious about the dollars and cents. And go ahead and do the estimates, because that's the key for you to see where you need to spend your time and energy and what your profit centers really need to do. It may say to you, I need just to rethink this business plan, or it may say to you, I need to get in gear, or I need to hire somebody to help me, or I need some help here. Okay? That's the key. So you should end up from day one at least having a plan to go for it. Once you have all these blocks in mind and you've got them assembled and right, it's time maybe let's put it on paper and really see what a revenue and expense projection looks like. So we can take each one of those blocks and have a line on your business plan line here, just like I have. And just as Truth did, she took each one of her profit centers and determined whether it was for new customers, for repeat business, for big ticket sales, and that is the perfect way to do this. List your profit center down and what you're trying to achieve with it, and take those numbers that were on the blocks and transfer them over to these lines. Notice that all the lines on top are in black ink. That's income producing lines. And there's a couple of lines here at the bottom that says other invested or borrowed funds. So if you've already invested in your business or you got borrowed money coming in, you need to plug that in there as well, because that's income coming in. And now for whatever the expenses are, now these expenses at the bottom are not the expenses related to the profit centers. You determined when you were doing each one of those profit center models how much profit was going to be left, what was going to be left at the end of the day. So when you put those numbers in, this is what's left from that individual profit center. But now we have to take into account the other cost of doing business, for the cost of different types of costs related to doing business, or overhead. Things like your marketing plan, your doing business expenses, salaries, and things like that. All the things that add up as expenses in each business will be a little different. We're going to take those blocks, as I said earlier, we're going to add them up, subtract them out to see what's left. And my friends, that is the basis of putting your business plan together. Knowing what your profit centers are, having a good guesstimate on what the income and the expenses will be, and you've headed in the right direction to get started. Now, that was for a for-profit. But a nonprofit looks at things a whole lot different. So let's just give that a few seconds of consideration. And in your handouts, there's some really good information about starting and nonprofits and things that you need to be concerned about. But they have some different rules that apply, and such as that, and the way you should name your information and like that is all covered in your handouts, and a video as well that's there, but different considerations for nonprofits. But the bottom line is making money in the nonprofits, it all gets back to doing your models and keeping up with what you're doing. You'll be keeping up with conflicts of interest, different things require. You have to have a board, and how those boards act are to be considered. That's covered in your handouts as well. We're giving you good handouts and good videos, and they're here too. So as you're watching your videos back, you can stop at this screen, get this information down if you're interested in going forward with nonprofits, or you know somebody that is. So nonprofits basically have marketable profit centers, but they're not necessarily selling the same kind of products and services that you would. A lot of what they do for their profit center is getting grants or contributions from different people. So it might be from special needs groups, faith-based groups, veterans and civic organizations. It might be scouting groups, PTOs, PTAs. So you may be involved in a nonprofit and actually don't know it. If you're a member of the American Legion or a church group or a PTA or PTA group at school, they're all nonprofits, and so all this applies to what they're doing. And they generate their money in different types of ways. Private grants, individual things, private donors, business donors, memorial gifts, and folks that live last will and testament gifts. Lots of different ways. And if you're running a nonprofit, then these profit centers have to tie into your marketing plan to how do you focus on these people as you're doing your marketing and advertising. They can do special events fundraisers, and you can do special events fundraisers. You don't have to be a nonprofit to do that, but there's all kinds of different fundraisers that you might be able to do as a nonprofit or even a for-profit to generate some money, depending on what your situation is. But these are different type things that normal businesses usually do. Now, we've got a really good friend of the Academy here who actually runs a very successful and powerful nonprofit in Sampson County, and they were able to share with me their last year's budgets and projections to give us a good indicator. So putting together their budget, which becomes their business plan, shows how things work out. So you'll see that in this particular budget in 2024, it was approved, and they were basically increasing the budget from around $60,000 to go forward from $136,000 to $200,000. So they were projecting a $64,000 increase. So when it actually came into what their accounting was at the end of the year, they had $155,000 and had a net loss of $19,000 this year, and a net profit or gain of $7,200 on this next scale. So this is all about comparing. So once your business is getting to running, you're able to compare what you did this year in real numbers, what it looks like you're headed on this year, like year-to-date numbers, and then you're able to build a more reasonable business plan and marketing plan. So this particular nonprofit lost $19,281 last year, and now they're planning their new budget, and will have to make the changes to get there. In your business plan, you may come up losing money, and what you want to try to do is adjust that so that you end up making some money. So what they did was look to try to how to deal that from $155,000 to $193,000 to end up with $37,477. The key is making the adjustments that you need to make. So they went through that process, ended up with a net profit, and I don't really want to call it profit, because in nonprofits you don't make that, but ended up with a reserve after expenses were paid of $7,200, which is cutting it real close with that kind of budget. How do you do it? What am I encouraging you to do? Be savvy, make the adjustments you need to make, and work hard to play it out. And I'll tell you right now, you're not in control. you are not in control. You're basically just trying to steer this elephant down the path that you want it to go. And sometimes it's very, very difficult. I am not in control of my business. Who knows what economy factors will do? War factors somewhere else, energy cost over there, some competitor that comes forward with a new product and takes my customers away. Just notice you're never in complete control, but the best way to get close to it is to have a good plan that you've worked real hard, and that will help you keep you in the game. So let's talk now that we're talking about selling products. Some of us are selling products like Robbie's doing, and some of us are selling services like Tamara's doing. Some of us are selling services that like Sarah is offering. The folks, David's offering services. And we just go down the line, and it's different types of businesses. So we can't just have one plan that fits everybody. But first, let's talk about how to build a model, how to build your models selling products. You look at each one of your profit centers selling products, and you try to figure out what it's going to cost you and what you're going to get from it. And so you'll have a different piece of paper, just like you'll end up having a different block for each one of the things. We're going to estimate our incomes and our expenses to come forward with it. Then we're going to take that and figure what's left from that particular profit center, And whatever is left, what are we going to call that number? Are we going to call it profit? Let's don't. Let's save that word profit till we look at the bottom line of our business plan. Let's call it margins. Let's let our profit centers earn margins for us. And those entities we won't call that profit. Indeed, it's a profit for that particular item, but it's not a profit for the whole company until it's combined with the big plan. So margins for your profit centers. We're going to use the example as a used car salesperson, used car dealers. And entrepreneurs, buying and selling used cars is a very popular entrepreneur business nationwide, and especially here in North Carolina. How does it work? It works like every other business. You figure out a way to buy something below fair market value and sell it above fair market value and hope to end up with a profit. That's where we're at. In the used car business, people go to auction sales like at Kenley and Wellington and Charlotte and Greensboro, High Point, all around. Every large community has an automobile auction going on. Don't know if you've ever been to one, but you can watch them on TV actually. So buyers stand over here on the back side, and sellers are over here on the front, on this right-hand side, and they're auctioning off each one of these cars as they roll through the auction room. This group of cars is rolling through here. Before people got in this room, they went out in that big warehouse where all those other cars are, and they looked them over, they kicked the tires, they opened and slammed the doors, heard the engine run, wrote the number of the car down, they're each one identified. And if they wanted to buy that particular car or bid on it, then they came back to the auction area, and as the car rolls by, they become a bidder or a buyer, and they bid it depending on what they want to buy it for. Here's what everyone knows, I just told you, but here's what you don't learn right now. Because of fair market value and the goals of each one of the used car dealers, when they came in here and looked at that car, they knew exactly on what their starting bid would be and what their high bid would be, and they're not going to go a penny over it. They had determined what the fair market value is, how at the lowest and best price they could buy it at, and not pay more than that to be able to resell it and make the profit they needed to make for their business, the goal that they had. So these fellas just didn't walk in there and say, well, whatever comes by, and I like it, I'll buy it. No, they went out and kicked the tires. They know this car up and down as it comes through here as good as they can because they're pros and taking a chance at it. They know in their back of their mind if they don't pay too much for it and they carry it home to sell it and it doesn't sell, they'll be able to bring it back and let someone else buy it. And it will pretty much bring back the same price. They don't have their time and interest involved, but they probably aren't going to lose a lot of money if they don't pay too much. That's where fair market value pays in. So they're out here buying and they're bidding. Once they buy it, they'll carry it back home, put the signs on it and the flags, and do their best to sell it to folks like you and I. Now, here's a piece of action. Each used car operation has certain categories of vehicles. The most popular used car in North Carolina, and probably in the whole United States, is a car that sells for $6,000. That's a car that most people can afford or pay a little bit down and stand a monthly payment on. That car will run good enough for someone's first car, a teenager's car, maybe if they've had a wreck and just need something to ride on because they're in a jam. $6,000 is a good value car for a used car dealer to have a string of on their lots because they're more sold in this value than any other range. Even though new car prices have gone from $80,000 to $150,000 and more, used car prices in this range have pretty much stayed in that $6,000 range. That's the bottom line tier first car, starter car deal. A used car dealer in a fairly modest trade area will probably be able to sell in a 6-month period 90 of these cars or 15 cars a month. That's selling a car every 2 days. Yeah, that's selling 4 or 5 cars a week. And if you've got a good lot and a good variety of cars out there in the marketing, you're staying open enough, then you'll probably be able to sell 90 cars in a 6-month period. If you do that, you'll generate $540,000. So right here is where you see that even low price used cars can generate a lot of money in a short period of time. That's over $500,000 in a 6-month period, bringing in a lot of money. Now, when they were buying that car back at the auction, they knew they were not going to pay more than $4,000 for the car. That was the most they were going to pay for a car that they hoped to sell for $6,000. So when they were buying $4,000 worth of cars, they spent $360,000 in buying those 90 cars, which leaves them, if the plan stays in the deal, it leaves them $180,000 black ink. It's a lot of money in it for 6 months. And this is just for one category of car. This isn't the whole range of cars, trucks, sports cars, fancy stuff, jumpers. But this is just a basic bread and butter car generating 180 grand. It shows you, my friends, in the entrepreneurial world, there's a lot of money to be made out here. So what do we call that 180,000? Margin. Remember, that is margin. So that's basically, that would be the business model. This would be one block in that used car dealer's business plan. It would say continuing business, $6,000 cars. Over here on the side, it'd be $180,000 because that's what that category of cars is going to generate in the 6-month period. The number would be $180,000 that was put on that black line. Okay, he would have a lot of other things like $10,000 category, $20,000, $50,000 now. Have a lot of categories, and each one of those would generate X amount of money. Now, he might also have a block there that says finance charges. Okay, he may be bringing in $20,000 a month in finance charges that he earns if he's financing his cars, and that's one of the big generators for used car people. Okay, that's the way she works. Now, services are different. If you're selling services, you're basically selling time for money. It's all about the clock, and it's ticking all the time. How much money can you make in a given period of time? Really important, whether you're teaching classes, whether you're doing consulting work, whether you're doing working for marketing plans for different people, doing their taxes for them. Yeah, you're producing an end product, a document, but what you're charging for is time. And this is kind of complicated for folks from time to time. So how do you go about doing that? My first suggestions to you, and I know that this has worked because I've used it for a lot of years, is that you're looking at basing your income, you're generating your money on working 4 days a week. 4 days a week, 4 months, 4 weeks a month. So I'm saying that in a month, you're going to get your work done and meet your business plan in a 16-day period. That's kind of It's kind of strange to hear, isn't it? I think it's going to make good sense to you now. I want you to set your calendar up, and while those used car dealers went to the auctions to buy what they needed to sell, what you need to do is Selling Time for Money is to make a calendar that looks kind of like this for every month. Have your blanks there so that you can figure out how much money you hope to generate every day of the week of those 16 days in the month. And at the end of the month, you will have generated that goal that you had to help you stay on budget and stay on business plan. So we're going to work on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday on our business plan. That doesn't mean that we're saying we're not going to work or see customers other times. No. But it does mean we will keep our priorities in line. Keep our priorities in line to be making money, to have our appointments set up to make money, and a certain amount of money each day, these 4 days of the week. Then that leaves you 3 more days to pursue other interests, to catch up on things that got askew. Let's say that you're in the grass mowing business and you get rained out. Well, you need some spare days, some reserves to catch up, right? And I want you to have some time to charge your battery, to go to church, to have time with your family or your friends or your loved ones, to have a life, all right? But having that life doesn't mean that you shouldn't be prioritizing the days that you need to be making money. And making money means you're planning on serving the customers, billable time. That's where we're at. So let's think about that. Now, I'm going to use for an example that starting out, Sarah, you'd like to bring home $2,400 a week minimum. That's what you're going to be shooting for. Just pull that number out of there. Your number may be $5,400 a week or 14, I don't know, but I'm going to use 2,400 because it's a nice figure and it's real easy to work with. So if I don't bring in $2,400 a week and work 4 days, how much money do I need to bring in per day? $600. I'm going to plan to bring in $600 each of my days that I need to be doing that. Now, I'm going to have some clients that what I'm doing for them, I can only charge $150. And I'll have some other clients that maybe we don't do $100 type appointments. Some maybe it's just $50 appointments, and some maybe it's $300 or even more, maybe a $600 appointment. The key is right now, our mindset is that I'm going to make the money I need to make on my calendar so my budget will work. Our mindset is not, I'm going to take whatever comes my way and fit it in wherever it feels good. That's what gets you in trouble. And it's the easiest way to go. And as we first getting started and we don't have any choice, we have to take what comes our way. I know there's a certain amount of that that's going to play out. But as we move into our business and we start generating appointments and accounts and we learn how that works, like David mentioned to me about some appointments and accounts that he's working with me. Truth mentioned that she's got some regular customers that are doing regular business with them. I certainly have some dedicated time frames. I mean, these webinars are certain time changes, right? I mean, with me, it's fairly easy to look at the date and the time and know how much money I'm generating each day just by looking at my calendar. That's what I want for you. That's what I want for you. For you to be able to look at your calendar and say, hey, cash flow looks good this month. I'm going to keep generating these appointments because I'll keep sending out promotions. And when I get a chance for a new customer to come in and the service they're asking for is a $50 deal, I'm going to plug them in on a Wednesday. See how that looks? Or this customer's asking me to put together a pretty extensive plan for them, and it's probably going to be a $600 charge. They will wipe out a Friday. I'll set aside a Friday for that $600. See, that can build some extra money into it. You don't limit yourself. You figure out a way to do it. But what this is all about is having a good idea what your income is going to be so that you feel safe with it. How many of you have been to a dentist in the last few years? And if you've been to a dentist in the past few years and you've got your appointment set up for one reason or another, I will bet big bucks that you cannot set up an appointment with the dentist without getting emails and phone calls to remind you that your butt's supposed to be on that seat in a certain date. by golly, we want to make sure you're coming, and we're going to stay on top of you and remind you all the reminders it takes to ensure that you're coming. And if you're not coming, I want to know it, because I don't put somebody else in that seat on a certain date. So right now we may just look at this slide and say this is the dentist office. And each one of those numbers represents a certain chair at the dentist office at a certain time. They know that if you're going to get your teeth cleaned, it's going to generate $50, $60. If you're going to have one pulled, it's going to generate $200. If they're going to do this, it's going to generate $600. They know what the practice is going to bring in, and they plug you into a slot based on how much money you're bringing into the office. Yeah, that's the way it works. Dentists, doctors, lawyers, they have business managers. They're usually good at what they do, but really are bad business managers. And the first thing a business manager does at a place selling time for money, puts together a plan like this. So you don't have to wait for someone else to tell you this 15 years from now. This is the way it works. And if you think about it like that, it works really quite well, because you feel confident in your cash flow, and you feel confident that you can switch one in and out for another to improve your game. We're playing poker here. You got this card and you got that card. It's like playing rummy. I'll take this one out and put one in. When you're improving your game here, you're improving your business plan to bring in the money you need to do for your budgets. And guess what? Once your calendar gets full, hallelujah, you know what it's time for? To start another calendar and maybe bring in an associate or a consultant or someone, and you start making money on someone else's labor. Your goal in selling time for money is either, number one, to be a side hustle or just build a business for yourself with not much growth potential, or to build a business that you keep filling up calendars and you bring in associates to work for you, and you look over their shoulder. Maybe you look after your people, but you're looking over your associate's shoulder too, and you're getting a piece of their pie. That's when your income starts really increasing. This is whether you're mowing grass or giving webinars. Selling time for money, your calendar is the key for growth and for sustainability. So let's look now at someone that's in the same plan. We don't say it's a graphic design artist, and they are wanting to bring in that same $600. So in 96 days, you know what you do if you can bring in $600 a day for 96 days? $57,000. It adds up pretty good. And if your costs are around $200 a day, that means you'll end up with $19,200 extra above your cost. How about that? So if that's the case, $38,400 is what you've got extra. Your expenses were $19,000, the income was $57,000, $38,000 working that part of the time. That will be your margin. When you're doing it with your income generators, it's exactly the same as we talked about before. You'll put your profit centers down, compare it to your expenses, and see what's left. Apply it to your business plan, and you move forward very, very quickly. Here's a little graphic that will help you. One of our academy members did this for us. You can print this out and just take your pencil and just plug it in. Just making notes as you think about them, the different things, what your expenses and your revenues will be, and it'll really help you just as a scratch sheet, so to speak. Wrapping this up now, mistakes that we can make often: forgetting taxes. Remember, we have to pay taxes, and they have to be planned for. When you're doing your payrolls and your allowances for your payroll, then you got to remember you don't have a certain amount of expenses for, that you have to pay for those employees, and they got to be put in there. We can't forget interest. If we got loans out there, we have to make interest payments. Insurances, not only will you have to make the first premium, which usually flows right into your startup cost, but you also have to remember that insurance premiums have to be paid monthly after that. I want you to remember to try to budget and put money aside each month. Have a savings account started. That'll help you. And biggest flaw that we make is say, hey, I am cool, I am smart, I got a lot of reserves here, and everything is perfect. When you start saying to yourself, everything is perfect with a budget or a business plan, you are in deep mess, okay? Things are never perfect and can always be improved. We keep trying to get there, but that's it. Your goal, your success is our goal. Remember that's why we're here. This is all about you, and we want to make it work. For long-term success, these rules matter. Rules do matter, but relationships are very, very important. So as we're building our total budget and business plans and where we're going to bring this money in, remember always it needs to be looked through with the filter of how does these items affect in relationship building. Next week, we're going to talk about marketing and be the Golden Goose marketing plan, and it will be a lot of fun, and you're going to hear things you've never heard before. That may seem elementary, but this plan will give you the confidence to know, not to think or not to wish or not to dream, but the confidence to know that if you stay with the structure of this Golden Goose marketing plan, you will have a really good idea and sense of confidence that you're on the right path, as long as you stay with it. So I'm really happy and proud to be able to bring that to you. Let your light continue to shine. Thank you for sharing what you've shared so far with everybody in the group and with me. It's really just brought a lot of gratification to see that y'all are working so hard, and I'm just so proud to be a part of trying to help you get there. I know that Ruthie feels the same way, and we'll look forward from hearing from you. So I want to say to you, get your rest, charge your battery, keep moving forward at your pace, and remember that God will bless you and your family and your business. So good night and thank you, and I'd like to invite you all to have any comments that you'd like to make. Thank you for the chat buttons. I've got a lot written in chat, and I appreciate it. I will print this out and respond to it through email directly tomorrow probably. So thanks again. And Sarah, thanks for keeping your camera on. It's always good to have someone to look at and smile at. Okay, any comments? Y'all can turn your mics on.
Thank you.
You're so welcome, Tasha.
I also want to say thank you. I've been working on my business plan. My biggest struggle has been the financial part. So the information you provided today was very helpful.
The key is just let's keep it simple and move forward one day at a time. You put together a sample, and if I can help you with it or make suggestions, I'll be happy to.
Hey, Steve, I updated business just so you can your free time. Thank you.
And thank you, Tasha. Your audio was not real clear. I'm not sure what you said, but I'm shaking my head anyway.
Oh, I do a copy of the updated business plan for the business that I have used this class for, and to let you know that.
All right, I heard you that time. Looking forward to getting it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, I hope y'all have a great weekend now. If you really enjoyed tonight and just want to get more of it, I'll be giving the same presentation on Thursday night. You'll be welcome to rejoin us there. If you have questions or things you want me to talk about Thursday night, let me know tomorrow. We're very flexible here. This is all for you, and I'll be glad to work with you and for you anytime. Thank you so much. Any other comments? Well, good night, family. I hope things go well for you. Bye-bye.